Hey there! So, this is going to be a tutorial of the new game Any Percent No MMS category for Bastion. This is one of our fastest categories. Obviously, no main menu storage is meant to say that you can't use one of the most broken tricks in the game in this category because it really just wrecks the game. But anyway, this is going to be a tutorial of that category, and so I'm just going to go real in depth on every level, all how the Bastion works, and yeah, I'm for posterity. I am streaming this on Twitch right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, there is chat open, so if you're, they might be asking questions over the course of this tutorial. So, if there's something specific that I'm gonna answer, I will read out the questions and such, just for posterity's sake. So for this, first of all, in terms of controls, this is the control scheme that I use for my runs. Most importantly, it's very important you see that the interact button is set to the mouse wheel. This is going to be really important for a number of tricks that we do over the course of this run. The rest of it, outside of using mouse controls, Mason-style controls, kind of just set this however is going to be comfortable for you. And that's something that, is just going to take work on your part just to see what works. But, this is a potential control scheme that might work for you. But yeah, the most important part of this, just make sure you have your interact bound to the mouse wheel. Alright, we're going to jump right in.
Proper story is supposed to start at the beginning. Ain't so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world got all twisted, leaving him stranded on a rock in the sky.
So first thing I want you to pay attention to as we're walking through is that you'll see kind of this like dust effect happening below the cursor, below this big circle happening. That shadow below the cursor that you can see right here, that is where your cursor actually is. So if I, walk over here, that dust trail, that shadow, that's going to be where the kid actually walks to. Let's, show that off right now. That's where you walked, not, just above that. That's really important because that will set up a lot of your movement. That's, in a lot of the more precise movement in this game, you need to know where the cursor is, and that's a big deal on that front. So, anyway, we're going to grab the hammer here. Now we can start rolling. You want to, as we're going through, just roll around anything you can. There's a lot of stuff you can flip through in this game, and a lot of stuff you can just break by rolling through it. So what you saw here was you roll through here. You want to roll up around here because this area of this kind of circular area here forms up much more quickly than the southern path. If you try to go below here, you're much more likely to fall, and falling wastes a lot of time, especially in this opening area. So from here, roll down through here, break that, roll north, and we're going to head up through here. Now we're going to see a gas filler. You want to kill this with 2 stationary hits from the hammer. The stationary hits are going to do a lot more damage than trying to hold down the mouse while you're hitting. So yeah. Up ahead is going to be the Fang Repeater. Now the fastest way to do this, I'm going to show the fastest way to go through this, is to just skip it and come back for it in a second. So you want to clip through here, get the fountain, drink from it, break this, come back over here and pick up the Fang Repeater, and now head back over here, and these squirts will have just popped up. So to talk through that a little bit more in depth, you want to roll through kind of this area here has between a rock and a market stall. You can roll through there, and that'll clip you through. Then you want to roll up to the fountain. Don't worry about rocks. You want to roll up to the fountain, get the health tonics, drink a health tonic as soon as possible, and then roll back over here. Break the stuff in the way, pick up the Fang Repeater, roll back over here. Now, this is because drinking a health tonic will cause the squirts to spawn a bit faster, and that's also why you kill the gas fella earlier on, is so that you can, get damage on you, which will allow you to drink the health tonic. An interesting thing about the fountain here is that if you get a tonic, let's just take some damage here. You see that fall was so costly. But this fountain's interactable. And if you interact with it on the first frame you can, the camera will lock here for a few seconds. And that will make it so that you can't actually roll over here. So you kind of want to give it a little bit, like just a second before you actually interact with the fountain. And then once you've interacted with the fountain, drink something as soon as possible, roll back over here. When you roll back over here, 6 squirts will spawn up. And I will replay this whole intro section, so that you can see things a little bit better. But there will be 2 that spawn up over here and 4 that are kind of around the fountain. What you want to do is walk over, hit this one, roll and kill the second one, and then you'll be kind of in this section, and this will have given some time for the other 4 squirts to have pooled up around you, at which point you'll want to just hold down your shield button that'll also target the squirts, and then just open fire with the repeater. That will, that's kind of the fastest way to kill them. So I'm gonna just restart this, actually. Not with that button, though.
He gets a good look at things on his way down.
So, normally we're gonna start a new game, and I'm gonna go through this a little bit faster so you can kind of see all of this in action. This is one of the more technical areas of the game, just trying to get through the Wharf District to get to the Bastion for the first time. It's a lot. But anyway, so what this is going to look like, you can't roll through this first area, so you kind of just have to wait until you can get the hammer before you can actually start doing much of anything in this game. So, I'm going to head to the hammer here, grab it, roll under, go north, roll between under those rocks there, head up to the gas fillet, 2 stationary hits, roll past the repeater, now get the repeater, and now the squirts are about to show up, so get that one, and shoot the rest of them down. And then that will open up the saloon so that you can actually go into the Soul Regret. This is one of the more combat heavy areas. So the first thing you want to do is kill Rondi with the repeater as soon as possible, and that will cause the shield to spawn sooner. So now you've done this, I usually take the opportunity to reload here. This turret's going to pop up, 2 stationary hits will kill it, and then we're going to have a bunch of boxes. What you saw there was you want to roll into each box before you start hitting it. And a roll does 2 damage, each moving hammer hit does 10, and that'll be just enough to kill a box. And so what you want to do is those 3 boxes spawn here, here, and there on the floor. So as soon as they start falling, roll into it, hit, roll, hit, roll, hit. You'll be around here when the next wave starts falling. Now, this next area is kind of difficult to explain how you go through destroying each box. You're gonna the most optimal way is gonna leave 2 alive. If you're just starting out, this is gonna take a lot of practice. Don't worry about it. You'll be okay. But a next wave of boxes is gonna start falling. Just watch the order that I hit these, and I will make some notes about what's happening as it happens. So that falls. So you saw how those boxes fell. I got the bottommost one in that main area right there, rolled up into the second one, hit it, and by that time I was doing that, the second box had fallen there, and they're close enough together that you can hit both of them with the hammer, and then rolling through that second one will kill it. Get the top one there, roll over here, hit it, and then you kind of want to walk back this way a little bit and hit it again. And that'll cause these two boxes that are over here, when they spawn gas fellas, it's going to make it a bit more likely for them to group up. They didn't group up too well in this one, but, you know, it's kind of RNG. Or, well, luck, at least. And then there's one more over here. It will not have started, spawning the gas fella just yet. So if you've been fast enough up through that part, you'll have enough time to kill that last box and then take care of the two gas fellas that actually spawned. So now that we've done this, there's going to be a bunch of squirts that pop up. You have to kill every enemy in this area except for 2 in order to move on to the next area. You want to counter block that big gas fella when it pops up, and then one hammer hit will take care of it. And you'll see that trigger to enter the next area happen when there's still 2 enemies left. Now, important to note is that if an enemy is over here, you'll see I can't actually go to the next area because there's an enemy here. Once I get rid of anything around here, then you can go through the window. This is one of those things where just watch runs and get a sense for what their route through here is. It's really not... It's difficult to explain in kind of one sitting, and especially just because you want to, get your own feel for it, and just for where the squirts are going to spawn, how that gas fella is going to go after you, and then just kind of get through it as much as you can. So we're going to get to the next area here now. So right off the bat in the Wharf District here, there's going to be along this area here, down in the bottom right, there's going to be a wall that starts forming as you come up to it, but it forms from right to left. So when we get up, we're going to angle kind of down this way instead of just going straight for this area over here to get to the next area of platforms. We want to angle down this way so that we can roll right around the wall. So we're going to see that in action right now. And you'll see, didn't even have to worry about it. So, a couple, dangerous areas around these platforms here. If you roll too quick, this area right here is a spot where you're very likely to fall if you're not careful. And similar here, this can be an area where it's very easy to fall if you're rolling too fast. So when you're going through, it's going to be a kind of deal where, you're rolling at top speed, and then maybe, hesitate just a second before you hit roll again. Move, 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 hesitate just a bit, and you'll be over here. Pick up Whirlwind, and now you have to kill these 2 turrets. Typically, shooting this one and counter-blocking this one will do a lot for you. Also, you want to roll far enough past that these squirts don't aggro. You can also get close enough to just hammer that one, which is a bit faster, and then you can just block that turret. So now we're going to be over here, and you want to enter the distillery as quickly as possible. You'll see this text pop up. You can't leave until that text disappears. And the way I do this, and this is kind of different between runners, so I'll try and show both ways of doing this. I place my cursor right around here, and as soon as that text box disappears, I am going to press escape, and you'll see that my cursor is now right over the confirm button to just leave. We're not going to pick up any spirits here, because that's going to, it's not worth the time. But another way possible to do it is press the confirm button and just hit enter. I'm not quite as big a fan of that because just the way that my control scheme is set up, it moves my hand kind of far away from the rest of my controls. But it's it's slightly easier. But I think kind of the best way to do it, in my opinion, is just hit escape, press confirm, roll over here. We're in the arsenal now. We're not going to change anything about what's going on here. We only have 2 weapons. We don't, we have like 2 secret skills, but this is going to be the better one. So just press confirm, and we're on the way. And now this ground here will form up. You have to enter these 2 buildings. So just roll through here, roll past all of that, head to this barge over here, and activate it. This is going to pop up. You can just counter it. A lot of the stuff that pops up here, you can kill it. You don't need to. The XP doesn't really matter a whole lot. But the most important thing about this is setting yourself up for getting to the end area here. So this is going to be kind of the most optimal spot to do that, but this is going to be a bit safer. You'll see you can like kind of hang on either edge of this, but as we're heading to here, you can start rolling as soon as this part of the barge. I'm just going to clear these enemies out real quick. But as soon as this part of the barge gets to kind of this corner of the stairs, you're pretty much safe to roll. It is possible to fall if you roll a bit too early or you're a bit too close to the edge, but you'll be pretty much okay. So anyway, we're going to head over here, and now this is going to be one of the first big skips of the game, to get past this gate. So you want to wedge yourself right here. And this is going to be kind of the angle that you want to be going at. And when you're going to do a whirlwind, and when you do that, you'll see this line pop up, and you kind of want to get it just across these stairs right here. So I'm going to show that right now. Get through here, and then just start mashing roll. And you're just going to kind of roll right through. I can't actually get back through this way, but you might roll a little bit too far and get wedged in the gate here. Just roll back this way a bit, and you'll be able to get through. And that'll skip this whole combat section. And now we're getting to the big skip of this category, which is core duplication. The reason that we bind interact to the mouse wheel is because if you pick up an object, if you interact with an object, there's a couple frames where it's still interactable before the game realizes it needs to get rid of the sprite and everything. So, if you bind interact to the mouse wheel, you can interact on consecutive frames and pick up a core twice. And so, you want to be kind of careful about rolling, because if you scroll a little bit too early or not quite fast enough, you're probably going to miss the dupe. So what you want to do is just kind of get your finger on the scroll wheel, and then just all at once, very quickly scroll. Also, just before we do this, past this area, we're gonna want to just fall, and that'll like skip a whole section of like going all the way to the Skyway. If you just fall, you'll head straight to the Bastion, but you can fall a little bit too early, and I'm gonna try and show that, and it'll just be a fall animation. You'll waste some time. So you want to like give it just a second, but otherwise, yeah. So I'm gonna try to core dupe right now. It's kind of tough to tell, but anyway, we're gonna fall. We're gonna see if we got it. So, up here now, we're going to be doing another pretty important skip here. We're going to talk to Rux, and these two dialogue options here are going to be very important. We're going to try and activate both of them at the same time. And how we're going to do that is we're going to click on this top one here, the city crest, and scroll as we click this. And that'll bring up the dialog box again before the fade out that will cause the discussion on the city crest. And as that happens, we're going to click the core. And that will kind of overlap these cutscenes in a way that we're going to be able to move a lot sooner and not have to build a building here. So I'm going to show this off right now.
There's a bit of the Bastion's power on that crest, enough to point the way to the core.
So as this happens, we want to get to the monument as quickly as possible. I actually missed it here. It's very important to roll to the monument as fast as possible. I actually want to make sure we show this off. So I'm going to just reload this area and show you again. So I've talked through how this happens. Now I'm going to show it a little bit more in real time. So you'll see that happens if you don't get to the core quickly enough. So you'll probably be around here when you talk to Rux. Talk. I scrolled as I clicked that first option, and now we're going to rush over to that. And you'll see now we can walk when we shouldn't be able to during this area. So you want to listen to that dialogue cue, and right at Growing Stronger, you want to put in the second core. That'll allow you to roll over here, move on to the next area without building, and before the Skyway would be deactivated. So, oh, yeah, thank you, House. House asked how I zoomed out there. If you press whatever button you have bound to the heal key, that would, cause you to drink a health tonic, that will zoom you out in the Bastion. I like using that here. A lot of runners don't do that, but I like using it because it gives you a little bit more room to work with in terms of getting to the Skyway. Because a couple times when I was doing this trick, it would happen a fair amount, actually, where I would try and roll to the Skyway, and, it's right at the top of the screen when you do that, and what would happen is I would just kind of, where the cursor was, the kid would just kind of roll back, and I would miss the Skyway because of that. So, in my case, that's the D key. Whatever you bind heal to, that'll be what zooms out the Bastion. So anyway, now we're at the world map, and we're going to be heading to the Workman Ward first. Now, it's very important to be careful about getting this, because if you just press enter before you've clicked on the Workman Ward, the Bastion is selected right now. And if you hit enter, you will fly to the Bastion. And what that'll do is, there will be this big long animation of you just kind of flying in the air, flopping on the ground. You'll have to get back up, and by the time you do that, the Skyway will have deactivated, and you'll have to run back and build a building. So be sure to click the Workman Ward first, and then hit enter to fly to the Workman Ward. So this is a pretty quick level, which is really nice. We're just going to head north, kill a dude, grab the core, and leave. So we're just heading right up here, shoot that cage, that'll cause this, the foreman to spawn quickly. And I am actually going to die and show that off again. I'm trying to think what the fastest way to die is. Basically, what the way to kill that foreman quickly is, as soon as he spawns, you want to do a stationary hammer hit, whirlwind, and another stationary hammer hit, and a moving hammer hit. So let's show that off right now. So, move over here. If you stay on the right side, the ground spawns a little bit sooner, so you can move a bit quicker. Shoot the cage. Stationary. Whirlwind. Stationary hammer hit. Moving hammer hit. He's dead. And then this cage is going to spawn up. You can, pick up the core from this far away, which is pretty far away. So be aware of that, and also be aware to not try and dupe too quickly. It's very easy to miss the dupe on this just because you scrolled too early. So you saw those overlapping XP points. I definitely got that dupe. And we're out of here. Yes, House, I did talk about stationary hits versus moving hits. Stationary hits, just as a recap, do more damage. You have to not be clicking the mouse to move in order to do that. And moving hits are going to do a little bit less damage, but they're a bit faster. Yeah, so we just got back. We have 2 cores. We're going to roll on over to the monument. And this is going to be kind of one of the spots you want to hit every time, right where I'm standing, is because that'll give you the opportunity to just roll right past without having to get through the monument in the way. So, get one. And the next one will be available. Just put that right on in. And then we're going to roll up to that furthermost left one. Furthermost left foundation. Build a building. Really does not matter which one you build. Just that you have one, because that's going to open up the skyway for you to move to the next area. And notable about this, that text that you just heard was actually from the previous visit to the Bastion. It hadn't been triggered yet because you did the dialogue glitch. But because of that text existing, we're right at the world map, and we didn't have to sit through Rux saying anything. Text skips like that are going to be very important to getting good times on this run. And I'll talk a little bit more in depth on where those text skips are happening as they happen. So, where we're going next is the Hanging Gardens, which this is where you pop up in the map. I'm always going to let you know where that next spot is from there. So, from the center right here of Workman Ward, you're a little, like, kind of in this bottom corner here. Not quite the corner, but down toward the bottom here. Click on that, and we're going to fly over here. The Hanging Gardens has some weird movement in it. I'm not going to, like, go into huge detail on it because it's not going to have a huge impact on your early times. I'm going to talk about, like, where I move, but I really encourage you to, like, kind of get used to this yourself and also watch some other runs just to get a sense of where the ground is more forgiving and where it's going to take a long time to spawn up, because that's going to have a big effect on getting through this level optimally. So the first issue is these stairs. They form slowly. It's very easy to fall here. You saw I only did like 2 rolls through there. Through here, that's another spot you want to be careful. And now you can start being a bit more free. So we're going to roll over here, Whirlwind to kill a turret off screen, and then right through here is you can just clip past this gate. Also, what happened over back here was I moved my cursor slightly off screen. I actually ended up releasing the clip, which if you roll when you're not clicking, the kid will just roll in that direction, and he'll go whether or not he's on screen. And once you get basically to this gate, which is going to be off screen, turret will spawn. Just press your secret skill key, in my case that's Q, you'll whirlwind, turret will die, this gate will open, and you can roll right through, and then you can do this clip right here. It's pretty easy. It's not very precise at all. You can just go right past. And now we're just going to roll through here. You want to walk through this area right here because these steps are not going to form quickly enough for you to roll past. Roll down this way, and this is an area you can actually just move right over. It's slightly precise, as you can see. One of the more common issues with that I see is that people will take it a bit too high. Like, they'll try and gauge it by the exact corners of these two tiles. And it's not like you can't make that, but for like in order to make it for sure, you want to take it just a little bit lower than that. So as I'm rolling through, you'll see like that was actually a little bit too low. But you'll get used to like where you can actually roll over this. It's actually a little bit higher. I lied a little bit. You don't want to take it too low. You actually want to take it a little higher than it might look. But you can just move right over this, and that'll save a lot of time versus going all the way around. Roll through here. You know, no real resistance there. Roll to the core right here. You don't have to kill anything here. You just have to roll past, and you want to get in between these two statuettes right here. And that will make the core interactable. Dupe that, roll through here, and that's the end of the level. So we're going to have a little cutscene here. Chill time. But just for some information, that core at the end of Hanging Gardens is not interactable until you get to a specific spot or destroy a statuette. It's faster to just wedge yourself in between those two rightmost ones and then just pick it up from there. So, we're here now. Roll right over here, put the cores in, and just for some reference, it's easier, to put a building over here. It's faster to put one over here. You'll have to like roll past, everyone and like get to the core over here, but build a building, doesn't matter which one, head right to the Skyway. And now we're heading to Cinderbrick Fort, which is going to be kind of right next to this scroll here, just a little bit to the right. And like really you can just like from here on out you can just like get the cursor where it needs to be and just mash clicks and enters until you get to the level. So we're in Cinderbrick Fort right now. These gates are going to open up pretty slowly. Get past there. Get through this area right here. The ground is finicky, so be careful with that. This, is kind of a more optimal path to take, but you can also just roll right around. It's fine. If you want to be safe, you can pick up the musket here. I'm going to show you musketless route, which is oh, excuse me. It's quite a bit faster than picking up the scrap musket here. So I'm actually gonna just roll past here, and there is some area right here, the barrels and this box. If you gauge it through there, you'll roll between that rock and that box there, and you'll be good. And then just roll across the bottom part of this right here. You'll just kind of roll past everything. Don't bother with that. And then walk over here, whirlwind this turret, and then pick up this core. You saw I rolled around the gate there. That's because the invisible wall goes away. But in a regular route, you're actually going to level up at picking up this core twice. So usually this gate will open by the time you do that, but if you happen to have a lot of XP, you can just roll around it. And that'll save time over waiting for the gate to open. So now we're gonna roll through here. Right past here. Kind of time your rolls carefully so that you will roll too fast and you will fall if you take it just like that. If you take it at, top speed. And, from here it's just kind of getting to the end. Just like before, you can just roll underneath everything. Not have to bother with it. And this is going to be a big skip right here. We're going to clip this gate by wedging ourselves into this top spot here. Kind of aiming toward here. And just clipping through. You may have to wiggle it a little bit. That clip is a little bit finicky. It's easy to get stuck there. And if you go through the gate and are just kind of stuck in between the gate and an invisible wall, just don't worry about it. So, we are now getting to one of the most interesting tricks in the game, and this bears a lot of explanation before you do it. We're going to get up and, like, aim kind of this way. I usually put my cursor right here to aim it. We're going to get up, roll right into this crack in the ground here. That will cause us to fall as a cutscene talking about this smoking pipe here starts. We will land, get up, we can move during that cutscene. What we're going to do then is go over to the monument, put in a core, and when this cutscene ends, we'll be able to put in a second core. We'll be able to do that very quickly, more quickly than usual. And then we want to run to the top right foundation, build a building real quick, get to the Skyway. I'm going to show this a couple times. So, get up, roll. Put in the second core. And as soon as you can, start rolling. It's very likely that you will not be fast enough to get that tech skin. Don't worry about it. So I'm going to show just a little bit. I'm going to show this off one more time, and also just talk a little bit about specifics. If you miss this fall, you will just kind of like stand there, like right here, or wherever you are, as this cutscene happens, and then you'll fall. So try not to do that. You know, as long as you have your spot, you'll be fine. But then you want to go over here, put in the first core, and just kind of scroll until you put in the second core. Because you want to put that second one in as soon as possible so that you can get over here as soon as possible. And then build your building over here. Again, doesn't matter which one. That, hopefully, will allow you to get to the Skyway quick enough to skip text and just go straight to the next area. But it's also important because it means that instead of having to put in your core, put in your first shard of the game, and then upgrade a building, and then build a building, you just have to build a building, and the game won't know any better. So I'm going to show that again. And I'm going to show this in real time. So we're going to fall. I'm going to set up my angle as the kid's getting up. Fall. Put in 2 cores. Build our building. And we're at the world map. Get some practice in with this. This is going to be one of those spots that needs a lot of practice. Now, because I, restarted, the map wasn't in the right place, but this is where we were, was Cinderbrick. And I think it was about here that Cinderbrick is. Weird thing about Rothus Lagoon, which is the next place we're going to go, is that it's behind this area here. So you can actually click it behind, like, this. If you're not sure where it is, it might just be easier to scroll a little bit and then click it. But fastest thing to do is to just click it behind this and then just fly to Rothus. Rothus is, in my opinion, the hardest level of the run. Especially once you have some practice in with the game. Right off the bat, we're going to be rolling around some brush that pops up and rolling through here before a log spawns in. So I'm going to show that. I'm going to land, roll around this brush. That log isn't a thing anymore. We're then going to pick up Sneaky Decoy, which is going to be very important through... usually I don't kill all these, but just to show off what's happening next, I'm going to get rid of everything here, and then probably just restart the level once or twice. Okay, so we got over here. We picked up Sneaky Decoy. This big pecker is going to spawn in. Don't worry about it. Just roll past. There are a few ways through these vines here. You can either use your hammer to, like, break open an area to move through. There is also a fast way through. If you just roll through here, kind of wedge yourself over in that area. It's very easy to fall there. And you don't want to fall, obviously. But if you do it right, you'll kind of wedge yourself between these two vines, and that will allow you to just roll right through. So we're going to get to this next area, and there's going to be a log down there that we need to move, that we need to break in order to get through. Fastest way to do that is to roll down here, activate Sneaky Decoy, and do a stationary hammer hit to break the log, and then that'll look like this. You want to do that before this wallflower spawns, because otherwise you're probably gonna hit the wallflower instead of the log, and that'll waste the critical hit that you get off of Sneaky Decoy. One of the big things about this secret skill is that it makes you invisible, and so enemies will attack that thing as long as it exists, and your first hit after that will be a critical hit, which does a little bit more than double damage. So it's very important that you get that crit on the log and not that wallflower. Not a big deal if that happens. You can still just break it, roll through, but that's the fastest way to do it. Anyway, now we're going to get over here, pick up the pike. That is going to be your best friend in this game. What you saw right there is that if you get hit by Queen Anne, you will get knocked up in the air. You have a lot of control when you're up in the air, enough to actually just roll to this second platform here and not have to deal with any of this stuff. I'm going to go back through this again so you can see it a bit more clearly. But in this area, there's a couple ways to get through. You can either roll to this brush over here, have Queen Anne knock you again, and roll around the rocks, which I'll show the second time through. But this first time I'm going to show a slightly safer route. There is going to be a pin cushion that pops up kind of where my cursor is right now. You want to kill that one pin cushion as quickly as possible, and that will open the gate to the next area. If you don't kill it before others spawn, you'll have to kill those ones as well. So that one will pop up, kill that, and you'll see we can just kind of move into the next area. So next up is this. I'm going to get this lunkhead out of the way first. But this is the most important thing about it is there's a clip that happens in this. Oh, jeez, come on. Thank you. So you kind of want to wedge yourself on this right side of the gate. There's plenty of backups if you don't get this, but what you want to do is wedge yourself through here and just kind of roll through that way. You can also go through here. There's a few spots where you can roll through. That one on the far right is going to be the fastest. So now, if you want to do this first, I suggested if you're new to the game, you want to get that last black tonic and head over here to spawn the Queen Anne fight. You can also just roll over here and do that. Anyway, now dupe the shard, and now we're going to be trying to kill Queen Anne. Not even kill Queen Anne, just do enough damage to leave. You do not have to kill Queen Anne in order to leave the level. You just have to do enough damage. So I'm going to try and do this the fastest way possible. The fastest way possible, I've been playing this game for 2 years and I have trouble doing it. So don't worry if this isn't a big deal. I'd suggest even spacing out the decoys even a little bit more. But what you're going to do is place a Sneaky Decoy. Queen Anne is going to pop up at it. Pike, pike, sneaky decoy, pike. If you're able to do that all in one cycle, then you'll be able to save a lot of time on the second cycle, which you'll put down another sneaky decoy, Queen Anne will pop up, pike, pike. What this has to be is, I believe, 3 decoy pikes and 1 regular pike, and that'll do enough damage that you can leave. So I'm going to show you that right now. Place your sneaky decoy. So yeah, you see I got 2 hits there. That was 4 hits total, and that Skyway just opened up. So that happened with all of the sneaky decoy hits and a regular pike hit. As long as you get those hits in, it doesn't necessarily matter what order you get them. It just matters that you kill her without dying. So I'm going to die here, actually, and just show off this whole level kind of in order. Oh, Leon just also just made a note here. Leon Bachar, he's another member of the Bastion community. There is also a safe 2 cycle with a pike crit, the decoy pike, 3 or 4 repeater shots, a normal pike, and on the second cycle, decoy pike, normal pike. So you can choose to just not get that. You can just choose to not get that third black tonic at all. It's an easier 2 cycle. It is a bit slower, but it might be easier to do that. So I'll try and show that off right now, actually. So I'm going to try and show off the Vine Clip and show Queen Anne boosts through this one. So like I said, pick up Sneaky Decoy. That's the Vine Clip right there. And we're getting the Brusher's Pike now. Now, get boost by Queen Anne over here, roll here. This is going to be where you want to get boosted, and you have to take a wide berth around this gate. You can also, if you don't feel good about this clip, you can also get boosted from Queen Anne here. It's really not... It's really finicky. It's really easy to miss, too. So I will suggest learn that clip, get used to it. But you can technically get boosted and roll around, which again is kind of a wide berth to get to this area. Now, trigger the Queen Anne fight. I'm gonna, get over here so that we can dupe the shard, kill the pecker, place a decoy. And just like that, oh, probably missed like a little bit, but point being, you just want to do enough damage to leave. That'll just take a lot of practice on your own, and you'll start to get a feel for it. So anyway, we're back here. Put in your shards.
All that trouble for a single shard, but you know what? It was worth it. It ain't too.
And you're gonna upgrade one of the 2 top buildings. It doesn't really matter which one, just as long as you upgrade something.
Ain't saying much.
You notice that there's text that accompanies an upgrade, so you can just head right over to the map and be fine. So now we're heading to Culford Cauldron, which is this one right here. From there, you'll have to scroll the map down just a little bit in order to get here. This is another one that's kind of weird movement, but I'll do my best explanation I can. So, you want to take this slow, and then this is a clip through this rock gate right here. You want to line yourself up between the bottommost big rock and the first pile of rocks just below that. And then just roll through it. If you do it right, it'll be as quick as that. Getting there and setting yourself up quickly can be kind of tough. It comes with practice. You'll notice a lot of what I'm saying is just it comes with practice. But yeah, from there, just keep moving. Roll through here. We want to pike these brushes so we can get through it. We have to roll kind of slowly through here. And it's mostly just rolling from here on out. Just following this path. And now we're in kind of this last section before the shard. Walk up, dupe it. And this area here, you just have to walk along it. There's no way to, like, rolling it, you'll just fall. But as soon as you see this corner platform show up, you can roll over here, and then roll here. And we're just about out of there. You want to, this is a pretty easy spot to fall, but you can, make sure that you don't fall if you roll right. So you're going to land about here, roll this way, and then just kind of roll parallel to the brush. Break this brush, roll back through, and then we have to clip back this way. Now, you kind of have to be careful because there are a lot of spots here that it's very easy to fall. And, I even, missed showing an area that, like, when you clip through here the first time, you can just fall. But, anyway, clip back through here, break this brush, which is kind of tough because you do tend to auto-target on enemies, but as soon as that brush is broken, come through here and route. That's another level that I suggest just watching as much as you can and just getting a feel for like where the movement is like. So, we're now going to head to Bastion Quarry. This is the same deal as it was, just put in your shards and we're moving on to the next area. We're going to be upgrading the other topmost foundation right here. Listen to that text. And Bastion Quarry is right here. Again, like, a lot of the levels, it's kind of nice. These last few levels, you can just put your cursor around here. You'll be fine. So, we're heading to Bastion Quarry now. This is the most movement-intensive level in the game, I think. Really fun movement once you get a hang of it, though.
Imagine everything you need to build a city like Zealandia. It takes hard work.
So, roll
Also takes Bastion Quarry.
past the top log here. You're going to kind of wedge yourself here and just roll perpendicular to the ground. Then roll this way. And that'll get you through this area without having to break all this stuff here. So I'll show that one more time, if I can. I guess I can't. But you want to just kind of clip through these areas on the bottom here. Top, bottom. And now we're just rolling through here. The way I usually go is between these two just because it gets out of the way of the rattletail. And now these pin cushions are kind of the weird part of this early movement. Because if you roll right into it, you'll bounce off it and not get past it. Or, in the worst cases, you'll get bounced off in, in such a way that you'll get knocked off. So what you want to do is you want to kind of curve around the pincushion as you roll. You might run into it a little bit, that's fine, just as long as you're not moving directly at it. So, show that right now. You'll see I got around that one, around this one, roll past this one, roll curve around, and from here it's just kind of follow the map. You should never click any of these switches, just don't bother with the switches. Right this area here, like what you saw here is you can move around this kind of rock gate here. Get past here, roll over here, These mushrooms here will show you're in the right direction. You can just roll through those. Go up, round. At this minecart, go right, down, and you can clip right through this gate here. I'll show this movement off again after this one big trick. This is Lunky Drop. This is one of the more hype tricks of the game. But we're going to be moving into this arena with Sir Lunky in it. And we're going to try and put ourselves in a specific spot that he'll just jump right off the edge and die. So what you want to do is roll into this area here kind of as straight as you can. There's going to be a doodad in the way that you need to pipe to get rid of. And then you want to get yourself in kind of a specific spot. And I'll try and show it once it's on the screen. That's the pike. Ooh, I actually fell, which is a big deal. This is one of the spots where having musket actually can help you a lot, because if you miss Lunky Drop, you have to kill him. Or, if you have musket, hopefully you can get into a spot where he'll at least jump in a spot that's beneficial enough that you can just use the knockback from the musket to throw him into the abyss. Now, I missed it, but I actually just want to show you this anyway. You're aiming for kind of this area right around here. It's not incredibly precise, but it's precise enough that you can miss it. I need to die anyway, so this isn't a big deal. But you want to be kind of aiming right around here. Nice thing about leaving this particular skull alive is that you can just run right into it and just like press up against it. You'll be in the right spot. Anyway, I'm going to die now, show you the movement a bit more fluidly. Oh, see, like, you can back up a Lunky Drop. You don't want to, if you can avoid it. Anyway, I'm going to show you this movement a little bit more fluidly, moving around the pin cushions and the route that you need to take. You just need to memorize the path in order to get to Sir Lunky. And then that'll hopefully set me up a little bit better to actually show the Lunky Drop. So, let's restart the area right now.
Just takes three things to build the greatest city in the world. It takes hard work and planning, and it also takes Burstone quarry.
Falling happens a lot in this level, not a big deal.
Rattle tales ain't the worst of it either, but more about that in a little bit. Not only are these rocks a source of life, they're recording everything, all the time.
Rolling past that gate. Mushrooms. Roll to the forge. That's an arsenal. And we're here toward the end now. And now, and just like that, Lunky's dead. So you want to get to this area as soon as possible once Lunky's dead. So you see I did some off-screen rolls to get over here. That will allow you to interact with Zulf sooner. Just talk, talk with him, leave. And then you want to activate this switch as soon as possible. And you can grab the shard from about this far away. And that's the level. You have to walk through here. Can't roll, unfortunately. And we're out. So now we're getting to the last skip in the game. Now you'll notice the game is not saving right now. Even with that that thing there, game's not saved. If you were to just exit to the main menu right now and restart and like hit continue, you would be taken before Burstone Quarry, because we are not at the Bastion right now. We are at a different map that's made specifically for this Ura invasion that happens. So what we need to do is make the game save so that we can exit to the main menu, restart the game, and the game will just land us in the regular Bastion. Fastest, the only way to make the game save in this case is to die and restart. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. We want to die to these Ura as quickly as possible. So you see this Ura right here. I'm going to try and roll just slightly to the left of him to get nicked by him as he goes by. And then we just want to die to these Ura. And it's pretty easy. Like, if you mess up that angle, it's not a big deal, but the Ura might just, like, shoot past you instead of hitting you. So you want to get to a spot where you're just between these two Ura and they just hit you until you're dead. Get up, walk over here, fall. That will cause you to lose some health as you fall instead of just sitting there waiting to get hit by the Ura until you take damage, because you have some invincibility frames when you get up, when you take your chance to carry on. So this kind of gets rid of that and also gives you enough damage that you only need to take 2 hits from each Ura to die instead of waiting for a 3rd cycle. So get up, get hit by them, die. Now, I cannot stress this enough. Restart the area. Do not exit to the main menu from here. Restart the area, please, I'm begging you. If you exit to the main menu, the game hasn't saved yet. And then when you hit continue, you'll be put back before Bastion Quarry. Do not do that. Click restart area, and then you can exit to the main menu. Story, continue. And that's the last thing you had to do. So, now land, put in your shards, and this is going to be the end of the game. So, now all we have to do is just finish the game. Time ends upon choosing an ending in the heart of the Bastion. Now, there's actually only one ending you can choose, weirdly enough. For some reason, the evacuation ending is tied to picking up the Hidebound Journal, which you don't do in this game. You don't even go to Prosper Luck to pick that up. So, that's just an interesting thing. But anyway, you have to walk over to each NPC, start, open the dialogue menu, close the dialogue menu, do not talk to them, then go to the, terminal at the heart of the Bastion, click Restoration. You have to click the picture at the top in that circle. For some reason, there's no actual, collision on the text box, so there's nothing to click there. So specifically, you have to click the circle picture at the top. But, yeah, that's the game. And you get to watch this awesome closing cutscene with great music behind it. And that is kind of your quick rundown of new game, any percent, no MMS for Bastion. So, if you have any other questions, if you're watching this on YouTube later, you can find us at our Discord. I will make sure to put a link to our Discord in the description for the YouTube video. And yeah, join us there. We're always happy to answer questions, help you out any way you need us to. If you find us on speedrun.com, that's where you'll find our leaderboard. You can get auto splitter for the game, and just some extra information there. But yeah, so this is how you get through Bastion. So yeah, thanks for tuning in and watching this, and I wish you the best of luck with your runs.